Hi, we're on location of the pedestrian underpass project between the airport and the Airport Business Center. Over the next 8 months, between April and November, we're going to be creating an access from one side to the other. We hope this program will give you a better understanding of just what to expect while this project is underway.
We're building the underpass here because we've had a great need. There's a lot of people who cross the highway here. We have 2 RAFTA bus stops, one for the up valley traffic, one for the down valley traffic. We also have the Aspen Business Center on one side of the highway and the Aspen Airport on the other. Current condition right now, we have 2 places where people cross the highway. One at the at-grade intersection crossing, where we can see someone crossing right now over to the airport. And the other situation that we have is a number of people who have decided to jaywalk across the highway, as this gentleman is right now. The situation in both cases, we have a conflict between vehicles and pedestrians. In fact, we've actually had an accident out here where unfortunately someone got pretty severely hurt. What we heard during the planning process for the pedestrian crossing was that people wanted a nice inviting space. So here on the ABC side, we'll have a 16-foot wide opening. It'll be 10 foot tall, and we'll also have nice landscaping and a well-lit path connecting the ABC with the pedestrian tunnel. The beauty of this project is in collaboration. A lot of entities came together to pay for this. We have funds from the Elected Officials Transportation Committee. We have funding from Pitkin County. We have funding from CDOT. And we also have RAFTA, who's building their BRT stops here, which this all gets connected to, who's managing the construction project. And so through all of that, we finally got all of the funding together to come up with a truly collaborative project.
Quite a lot of planning went into the decision to locate the underpass. We started out the planning process with a public meeting that was held at the fire station in 2011, in the fall of 2011. And that was followed on by various meetings with governmental agencies, homeowners associations, and then we came back together for a final design charrette, again with the community. Well, initially several options were discussed for the crossing. Obviously there are 2, an overpass and an underpass. And it was pretty quickly decided that an overpass was not going to be the preferable situation. The public was pretty vocal about not wanting something to impact the natural beauty, obviously, that we all enjoy. So pretty quickly we got to an underpass solution. We arrived at the location of the crossing using a kind of a traditional planning metric, which is known as the 5-minute walk. This circle indicates what generally somebody could walk in 5 minutes, and that's about a quarter of a mile. And we did a series of these studies centering this particular 5-minute walk is centered in the preferred location of the crossing, but we also did one that was centered farther down by CMC and farther up valley, closer to the ProBuild site. And what we found that the central location of this 5-minute walk overlay captured quite a lot of the population that is currently out there. Again, using public comment that said, put the crossing where the people are, we were able to identify that a crossing that is located in what ultimately became the preferred location was going to capture the majority of the people.
To start the project, the first thing we'll do is remove this concrete median that separates the lanes of traffic, and so that we can construct a asphalt bypass over on the down valley side. We'll be able to do that with very minimal impact to traffic, and once we've got that bypass paved and we'll have all the traffic on that side of the road, we'll maintain 4 lanes of traffic. This is going to occur in early May. After that, we'll begin the construction of the up valley portion of the pedestrian bypass. We anticipate that being complete by August. And then we will switch traffic from the down valley side to the up valley side. We'll schedule that work to be done during the off hours, most likely in the middle of the night, so that we can have very minimal impact to traffic as we get people switched back over to the up valley configuration. The channel we're going to be digging across the highway for the underpass is roughly 35 feet wide and 20 feet deep. In that kind of an excavation, as you can see here, we'll encounter boulders of this size, and we're expecting much larger, up to maybe 10-foot round boulders, which are probably the biggest things we're expecting to find under the road. With construction under a highway as old as this one is, we've found house foundations before. We find a lot of things that people have buried and forgotten that we like to find when we dig up.
So why do underpasses get such a bad rap?
You know, here's an example at Trescott here in the valley. A lot of people don't like going under things. It gets dark, it gets a little claustrophobic. One of the main design complaints we had is like here, this is about 6 feet. You're kind of walking in a canyon down into the underpass, and so people just feel a little constrained.
And then once you get in, it gets echoey and cold and a little spooky, in my opinion. What do you think?
Spooky, again, is not a term that I am fond of, but yeah, claustrophobic. You know, you're going underground and people don't like that. They do get dark. Here's an example of a tunnel not as lit as we're going to have at ABC. We're going to have much more intense lighting. We're also going to have a bigger box. And so when you're walking through this is one of the better examples in the valley, but it's 10 feet high and 16 feet wide at ABC. So you'll just feel like you have more room and you won't maybe feel so constrained.
And lights will be on all the time?
Lights are on during the day and the night. So
that's good. And you know, the good thing about underpasses is that we don't see them. That's important.
It is. And you know, that was one of the major design constraints, is that we're trying to get people safely across the highway, so you have to go under or over. And kind of coming into Aspen, a lot of people had concerns about looking at an overpass and restricting views, and so that's how the community selected an underpass at ABC.
So what will we see when we come out the other side of the underpass at the ABC?
So what's a little different than some of these other boxes where you're getting into the canyon is on the ABC side, we're going to landscape it. There's some architectural features in the concrete against the walls that'll look a lot different than some of these other boxes in the valley. So, you know, they're not going to have this split face MSC block that looks like it's got a lot of age to it. And it'll be heavily landscaped so that it's going to feel kind of like a mini park down on the opening. And then at the top, it's going to tie into all the architectural features with the BRT stations that you've seen through the valley. So, you know, we've tried to marry those two concepts together, and I think they're blended well.
A safer solution to crossing the highway in this location is long overdue. This has been a great collaborative effort between a number of community groups that will not only make this crossing safer, but it'll make it a great connection between the airport and the Airport Business Center.